Yeah. Let's see what we've got here. Do. Oh, I guess I should have scheduled this. Let me change the dang stream title. Okay, sorry about that. One of these days I'll quit boomering it up and set up the stream in advance and not do it after I've turned on the stream. So yeah, I don't even know what I'm doing. So going live today. Mostly just I don't have a topic. I don't have a single freaking topic. It's been a pretty slow news week. After the whole Martha's Vineyard stuff, there hasn't really been much news. There's been a little Twitter drama on the LawTube side. Uh, you know, Christopher Boozy of Bot Sentinel has continued to rile up the LawTube community, and so they've all been pretty piling on him pretty hard the last couple of days. But other than that, it has been an extremely slow news week. So, having said that, I kind of burned up all my fire the other day with the Constitution Day stuff. And I'm sorry, I need to learn not to click my mouse scroll when I'm live here. One thing I will mention, as part of that whole Christopher Boozy versus LawTube, let's see, Legal Mindset, Andrew Esquire did a stream, I believe this morning, with Nate the Lawyer, in which they were taking shots for $100. And being a whiskey man myself, I'm also in solidarity. They were drinking Fireball. So I'm going to be drinking some Fireball on stream tonight. I've already got some poured in my little whiskey glass. And I might mention that I've got it in my glass because I'm trying to learn how to sip whiskey. But Fireball's not a sipping whiskey. It's a slam a shot kind of whiskey. It's a, drop it in some Red Bull or something kind of whiskey. It's not meant to be sipped. And so I've got a little bit of bottled water left, in case I need to wash it down. But for the most part, I don't do the Fireball. I don't do the cinnamon. I really don't like the flavored whiskeys, unless I'm at a party and needing to get drunk in a hurry. The only other couple things that have been in the news, and this may be a topic I might talk about. I know there have been some other channels that have had some coverage of police interviews in the Alec Baldwin case. And I really haven't. I've mentioned it a couple times on stream, but giving it a deep dive, giving it a, and I don't even want to call it a deep dive because there's definitely, I haven't been that deep into it, but I've been deep enough to know, hey, this dude shot someone in the face and is likely getting away with it as of right now. So, Yeah, there's a lot of celebrity news. The Queen of England had her funeral, and there have been various celebrity news around who has attended her funeral. You know, a whole lot of people arguing over football. I'm not going to do that today. But yeah, there is hardly anything. The FDA has issued a warning advising the public not to cook chicken in NyQuil. People are marinating chicken in NyQuil, y'all. This is the one of the top trending topics right now on Twitter. There's nothing. I mean, there's okay. So here's something you got trending. Hashtag Putin is dead. He's not dead, folks. But is this not Blue Anon fucking wishful thinking? And then a bunch of people being like, oh my God. And this happens all the time. Someone tweets, someone gets a hashtag trending about someone unpopular being dead. And then it continues to trend because then everyone clicks on it and then says, oh, and then reshares the hashtag and says, oh my God, I thought he was dead. No. I mean, quit retyping it. I guess Twitch has said they're banning gambling streams of some sort. But yeah. Oh my. Putin is dead. The Blue Anon cope. You have to love it, especially after everything that happened with Martha's Vineyard and the stuff that happened with Twitter versus Texas, and you know it's been a weekend of seething, and now here it is Tuesday evening, and people have lost things to tweet about. So all they're tweeting about is Taylor Swift album comes out in a month, and no. Okay. So I'll get the show going here. Go ahead and give a big cheers to Nate the Lawyer, or as he's known now on Twitter, Nate the Cashier, for his continued smackdown of Christopher Boozy. And, keep grifting those boozy bucks. I don't get boozy bucks, so I'm not going to cover Christopher Boozy. If you want Christopher Boozy coverage, go to any of the LawTube channels. You go to Nate the Lawyer, Nick Rekieta, Rekieta Law, that is, Legal Mindset. You know, they've all been pretty much covering the Christopher Boozy doxing and all, or attempted doxing of Nate the Lawyer, and all kinds of insults he was slinging at the LawTube community. I'm not getting involved in that fight. They can have it, but cheers to them, so that you're not the only one suffering having to drink Fireball for boozy bucks. I'll drink one for you too. Ooh. Oh God. Oh God. Oh. Oh. Oh God. That is horrible. Oh. Oh. Here, I'm gonna let Twitter know. Oh. Wow. Oh. I'm gonna let that sit on the back of my tongue for a second, and then I'll take a drink of water. Yeah, I don't know how. Andrew, I know right now Legal Mindset is actually streaming with Drex doing his pimp cast, but dear Lord, I don't know, man. Andrew, how the hell did you drink, what, 7 or 8 shots, 9 shots, 10 shots, however many it was this morning? Holy hell, dude, Fireball is quite the substance. Ugh. Ugh. I mean, they call it whiskey, but man, there's little in this to do with actual whiskey. It's it's like they took whiskey and put just a bunch of sugar and candy and cinnamon. Ugh. No, wash up. So I got another swill to go here. Let me let me okay, let me go ahead and since I brought it up, the more I hear about the Alec Baldwin situation, the madder I get. Like, can we arrest this guy already? Can we just arrest this guy already? Here, let me bring up something. 5 basic rules of firearm safety. Okay. Here we go. Fieldandstream.com. Let me bring this up on the stream here. Because I want you folks to understand why I'm so angry. Okay, let's enlarge that just a little. Nope, never mind. Okay, the box won't go. Ooh, excuse me. Fireball indigestion. Okay, five gun safety rules to practice and pass on. So, I've taken basic firearm safety courses, as have a lot of people who own guns. And so here we go. The 5 basic rules of firearm safety. Now, I know, let me start off by saying I know the first thing everyone is going to say as I start to read these. But it was a movie set, yo. I'm aware it was a movie set. I'm aware that they were trying to capture a shot on film. But hear me out. I'll explain a little more in detail as we get into these firearm rules. Number 1, treat every gun as if it were loaded. Now, that's a little simplistic, right? I mean, Alec Baldwin knew there were rounds in the gun. He just didn't know they were lethal rounds. So he treated it like it was unloaded. Fair enough. Fair enough. You didn't know they were lethal rounds. But rule number 1, treat every gun as if it were loaded. And I would expand that to say, treat every gun as if it were loaded with lethal rounds. Meaning, the first thing you should do is take your firearm, check it again, and check it again. If you don't know what rounds are in there, check it and check it again. Treat every gun as if it were loaded. Now, that could mean a million things, but as I understand it, and I could be wrong, I will go back and read more on the case, but as I understand it, they weren't filming for the movie. He was practicing his quick draw, and they were filming to see how the gun would look on the quick draw. And it wasn't supposed to be fired on the quick draw. So you're trying to get a shot, right, off-centered from the barrel of the gun. So I pull and I point, you know. Do I have to point directly into the camera lens, or am I pointing off-centered? You know, what would be the best way for that gun to look on a quick draw? Now, here's what I'm going to say. You have a movie set. There are several people on a movie set. The cinematographer is checking the camera direction, checking the direction of the actor and the prop. Okay, number 1, treat every gun as if it's loaded. Number 2, always point your gun in a safe direction. Now, this is part of the movie plot thing that I think you can reasonably couch. Okay, so 1, treat every gun as if it's loaded. Well, if you think you have dummy rounds, I could almost give you a pass on that. Always point your gun in a safe direction. Again, if you think you have dummy rounds, I give you less of a pass on this one. Now, you have a cinematographer that again is do you have to point it at the human being behind the camera or next to the camera in order to get the shot? That person should be on the other side of the camera or away from the direction of the barrel of the gun. And nobody, and I mean nobody, that's not extremely necessary to the filming of this gunplay should be on the set or should be downrange from where the pointing of the firearm is. So always point your gun in a safe direction. Number 3, never point your gun at anything you don't intend to, I'll change that last word to destroy. Don't point your gun at anything that you do not intend to destroy. Now again, he thinks he has blanks. He's doing the quick draw. Okay, but you're pointing simple firearm safety. I don't care if they're dummy rounds. I don't care if they're blanks. I don't care what's coming out of the barrel of that gun. It could be nothing. The fact of the matter is you're handling a firearm. You don't point that gun at anything that you don't intend to destroy. If you don't want to end somebody's life, then you don't point the gun in that direction. And we have a young lady, Elena Hutchinson, that's dead because Alec Baldwin pointed a gun at her. Number 3, never point your gun at anything that you don't intend to destroy. If he did not want to destroy her, he should not have pointed his gun at her human figure, at her face. Number 4 is an interesting one. Keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to destroy something or someone. He claims he didn't pull the trigger. He claims the firearm just went off. But the FBI said no. His finger was on the trigger. Now, I would actually, okay, so again, I changed the last word from shoot to destroy, but I would actually change this whole rule to keep your finger away from the trigger until you're ready to shoot. Don't put it anywhere near the trigger area. You know, when you're learning from an instructor, you know, they teach you to take your finger down the side of the barrel, right? Finger down. Try not to get product name on here. Finger down the side of the barrel instead of down here in the trigger hole. You put it down the side of the barrel. So, you know, you don't have accidents. And number 5, be sure of your target and what's beyond. Now, I kind of already covered this with the point your gun in a safe direction. But not only did he hit the cinematographer, he hit, I think, one of the directors. I think. Did he have a target? Did he have something he was even pointing at? Was he pointing at the camera? Was he intentionally pointing at Elena Hutchinson? And what was behind her? More staff members? More crew? So even if it wouldn't have hit her, it still would have hit this director guy. It could have continued downrange and went through a couple other people. If it was a Full Metal Jacket, there's no telling what it could have continued downrange and destroyed. So, number 5 is be sure of your target and what's behind your target, because bullets are known to go through and continue downrange and destroy more things as it goes. The bullet you fire from the gun is not going to just magically stop after it hits what you're shooting at, unless you're shooting at a proper backstop like a mound of dirt. An animal's body is not always sufficient to stop a speeding bullet, so what that means is after a bullet strikes its target, it keeps speeding along until it hits something that will stop it, like a house or car, or until gravity takes over. And, you know, here they're going to go on to talk about, you know, children and firearms. But Alec Baldwin's not a child. In fact, he's an actor with a lot of years' experience. And years of experience on and around sets that have real guns to be used as props. He should know these basic 5 rules of firearm safety. He should know how important it is to follow every single one of them. Now, we could get into all the little details about the armory, the armorer's assistant, why there were live ammunition on a movie set. But honestly, I don't think any of that... It's all interesting details for true crime, for YouTubers. You know, there are a lot of interesting little details. And I've been listening to, law tubers talk about the ins and outs of this case, and frankly, a lot, I've forgotten a lot of it, because to me, it doesn't matter. The armor doesn't matter. The ammo cart doesn't matter. What the other actors were doing doesn't matter to me. Why there were even other actors on set live at the time that there was a gun being handled and they weren't essential to the shot. Every single one of these rules, Alec Baldwin broke every single one of them. And then he double broke them because, as producer, you're ultimately responsible for the actors following the rules on your set. So he was responsible as an actor to use proper gun handling, proper weapons handling, and then he was extra responsible as the producer to make sure those rules were being followed. So whatever's going on with the armor, whatever's going on with the bullets, and people trying to load the gun, trying to force live ammunition where it doesn't fit, or, I've heard all kinds of little tales and stories about what really happened that day with the ammunition. And quite frankly, perhaps the armor is somewhat liable. Perhaps there is enough blame to go around. But only one person picked up a gun, pointed it at another human being, and pulled the trigger. And that's Alec Baldwin. Only one person on that set that day did those actions. And that's Alec Baldwin. And if I watched his police interview, and he continues to dig himself a deeper and deeper hole, admitting responsibility for this and that and this and that. Now he's facing lawsuits. The movie's probably canned for good. I heard it was actually going to be a pretty good damn movie. But never going to see it now. Because somebody got their face blown off. Because proper weapons handling. Let me go on a secondary rant. Remember, this is Alec Baldwin. The man who gained much of his recent notoriety from trying to be a parody of the former president of the United States, from taking humor and making it political. It hasn't been a secret that Alec Baldwin has leaned left politically, potentially even far left. But this is part of the problem. The radical left, who claim to be afraid of the proliferation of firearms in our communities, it almost seems like when many of these people have the opportunity to get near a firearm, they want to treat it like a toy. They don't respect firearms. They don't respect them as a tool. They don't respect them as a weapon. But most importantly, they don't respect the realities of the inanimate object. Again, it's, well, I'm not a bad guy, so nothing wrong could happen to me with playing with this. I'm not going to go rob a bank with it. And then something happens like what happened to Alec Baldwin and Elena Hutchinson. Because Alec Baldwin didn't have respect for a firearm. Like I said, he's probably been through the safety training. He probably understands what it means to respect a firearm. And there are thousands of firearms owners out there who understand the lethality of what they're handling. Millions of firearm owners who understand and respect their weapon and understand that that little circle on the end of the barrel, when you point it at something, you better intend for that something to be destroyed. Because we live in a culture where if you point it at somebody, they just might point one back at you with the intent to destroy you. Fortunately for Mr. Baldwin, he was on a movie set and not playing around in some field or playing around in a gun shop, which, ladies and gentlemen, one of the dumbest things you could do is pick up a weapon at a gun shop and start pointing it around at people and things. That's a way to get a shop owner to pull his piece on you and say, put it down. Don't do it. If you're going to pick up a weapon, please respect it. Please learn the 5 basic rules of firearm safety that we covered earlier and practice them religiously. Vigilantly. Because you don't play around with life. You don't play around with the ability to destroy life. So, anyway, sorry I get so deep on you. You know, that's my opinion on the whole Alec Baldwin thing. You know, I could get into details. I could cover so many aspects of that case. The interviews with the armorer, the interviews with the other actors, the police interviews with Alec. You know, I've watched a lot of these. I say watched, half paid attention to while doing other tasks. I'm a multitasker. Have I ever? I don't know if I've told you folks that or not, but I'm a multitasker, so I tend to absorb a lot of content like this. The interviews. I tend to absorb that while I'm doing other things, while I'm driving to work, while I'm doing dishes, you know, getting chores done, or sometimes I put my Bluetooth in while I'm at work and I'm working hard while, you know, listening to things. I'm a multitasker. So I don't always absorb every sentence I'm listening to, and I don't really know every little detail, but, you know, these things interest me, and I don't know if they interest you, but it's a good day to drink horrible frickin' whiskey and regret it later, or regret it instantly, in my case. Oh, okay, here we go. Drink the rest of the first shot here. And I don't know, is an airplane bottle more than a shot? I don't know how many ounces is in this shit. 50 milliliters. I don't know if that's more than one shot or a double shot or what, but the first sip went down pretty well. I say that as if you don't already have the evidence earlier in the stream. I'm man enough to handle my fireball. Oh. Oof. Oof. Ooh-wee. Oh, oh, ladies and gentlemen, uh, if you've had the pleasure to consume Fireball cinnamon whiskey, let me know about your first time down in the comments. I'm interested in finding out how you discovered Fireball and whether or not you liked it. You know, here's the thing. I used to love Fireball. My first time was a Independence Day party. Kind of relevant to our last stream. Yeah, Independence Day party. I I had some other whiskey, but I decided on this instead because I wasn't much of a whiskey drinker at the time. Because, you know, growing up in the big city in the Midwest, I didn't respect a proper bourbon. To me, the only two whiskeys that existed were Jack Daniels and Crown Royal, and I knew I didn't like them, so I didn't really know what to think of other whiskeys. But I knew that cinnamon whiskey sounded better, so I tried it and I liked it. I know it doesn't seem like it today because it's been a long time since then. A really long time. Uh, but yeah, I liked it so much that I proceeded to slam more and more of it and get hammered. And so that's actually where this came from. It's been sitting in my freezer for a couple of years because I bought more of it for yet another holiday party and wound up not drinking as much of it as I thought I would. So I've had two little airplane bottles just kind of sitting there, and I've been, you know, wondering what to do with them. And I thought the stream tonight, since I had no topic, I figured it'd be a good way to pass some of the time here. Get white girl wasted. Gotta get that. Oof, that cinnamon. That cinnamon just does me in. Look, I can handle cinnamon, like actual cinnamon toast or cinnamon toast crunch cereal. I can handle cinnamon in a lot of things, but oh, and it's called Fireball because it's supposed to remind you of those red hot candies. And I never liked those, but it helps the whiskey go down. I will say that. You know, like I said, the only whiskeys I knew of growing up were Crown Royal and Jack Daniels, and those two just tasted like octane to me. The alcohol content was just, I mean, there was little flavor. It was all bang and no taste. Kind of like Taco Bell fire sauce. It's all heat and no flavor, right? I got to kind of mix it in with some other kind of sauce in order to get more spice, actual spice, not fire, just spice. That's kind of how I always thought of whiskey. You know, whiskey always had too much ethanol, too much alcohol, and little flavor, until I actually started drinking respectable bourbons and scotches and ryes. Anyway, I I'll admit I used to drink girl alcohol, white girl alcohol. You know, the Mike's Hard Lemonade and Smirnoff Ice, Zima, because I didn't want to drink something that tasted like ethanol. But you know, thank you LawTube, thank you LawTube for giving me a new hobby, and now I'll kick the Fireball habit. That's better. Okay. So, have you been through a firearm safety class? Leave a comment. Let me know. Let me know how it's been. How you learned the basic rules of firearm safety if you have. I'd be interested to hear about it. Did your parents sit you down and teach you how to respect a firearm? Would be nice to know, because like the link I was showing, teaching kids how to respect a firearm is better than their dumb friends when they're teenagers teaching them how to disrespect a firearm. Oh, excuse me. Oh, indigestion. So I got a question on Twitter. Somebody sent me a DM and asked me, what flavor of vape is this? And the answer is, there are two. And one of them is a caramel cream. It almost tastes like butterscotch or like a Werther's Original candy. And the other one is supposed to be like a cotton candy or a Smarties. So, I like the sweet stuff, the sweet sugary goodness. I smoked cigarettes for 28 years of my life, 29 years of my life. I started smoking when I was 11 years old. And I've been vaping now for about 2 years, a little bit less. About 2 years. I started with some disposable crap you buy at a gas station, and I really liked their cake flavor. But then our government passed that law saying that you can't sell disposable vapes in any flavor except for menthol. Not mint, menthol. Mint was considered a dessert flavor. It had to be menthol or tobacco only. And when that happened, I was like, well, I guess I'll start smoking again. And I actually did for a couple of months. And then I went into a vape shop here and asked them, hey, what do you have that's close to a birthday cake or a white cake flavor? And they gave me caramel cream. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you've ever had a Werther's Original and a piece of birthday cake on the same day, but those two things taste nothing like each other. Since then, I have tried just about everyone's blend of vanilla and pastry, and I can't recreate what I was vaping on back then. It's just not possible. And now this caramel cream stuff is from a company who has now been discontinued. I found one website that still had some stock and bought like a 9-month supply of it. But here we are again where, this is one of my biggest pet peeves in society is once I find something I really like and I use on a daily basis habitually, like my shampoo, toothpaste, deodorant, the beverages I drink, seeing that product become discontinued, I get so irrationally angry at having to, I have to find a replacement for this product in my life. Like that to me, that simple task of, I guess I have to figure out a new deodorant regimen. Like, I don't know about y'all, but just standing in the deodorant aisle, looking at all these different scents and different levels of antiperspirant, and just looking all over these shelves, and then trying to kind of smell them through the cap, or through the safety cap. Just knowing that none of them are going to live up to the thing that I've been using for the last 5 years, right? It's the most aggravating feeling in the world, shopping for a replacement for the thing you've been comfortable with. I have bought the same pair of shitty house slippers, and they're not even a good pair of house slippers, mind you. They're cheap and they fall apart really quick. But I've bought the same pair like 5 times because I can't find another pair that look like them and feel like them. It's the one comfortable thing in a market full of infinity choices, right? I found the one I like. There's infinity choices out there, but I found the one. I got one-itis for slippers. I got one-itis for deodorant. You can call me, red-pilled or some people use MRA as an insult, and the MRAs and MGTOW guys, they say, don't ever get one-itis, right? Don't get one-itis for a woman. Don't treat a woman like she's the only one, because she's not. There's lots of women out there. No, my deodorant, my breakfast beverage, my slippers, and my vape flavor. Like, I've got one-itis. I hate the idea of going back and starting from scratch and trying to find things that I like, because the things that I like are very, and I don't even want to say they're niche, but it's hard to match all the reasons I like the thing I like. Wow. I've made it to over 45 minutes with not a single topic to start the stream. I managed to rant a little bit about gun safety, talked a little bit about what's trending on Twitter currently, but, I'm trying to make an entertaining show for you guys. Hopefully, if you're the same way, if you hate shopping for something new, leave me a comment below. If you have a product, let me know what product that was. If you know of a product that's been discontinued that was like, oh man, this was the perfect product, why did they get rid of it? Fucking Crystal Pepsi, man. I'm joking about the Crystal Pepsi. That shit was nasty. I had fond memories of it as a child, right? I think I was like 9 years old the first time it came out, and then they brought it back about 5 years ago, and I grabbed about 7 bottles of it without even thinking, without even trying one. I bought like 7 bottles of it. I cracked that first one. I was like, oh, this tastes like Pepsi. Oh yeah, it's always tasted like Pepsi. I used to like Pepsi as a kid. I no longer like Pepsi. Why am I drinking this crap? And it took me like 8 months to drink those 7 bottles. I'm not going to lie. But anyway, so if you got a product like that you fell in love with and it got discontinued, leave a comment below. Tell me your story. I guess, one thing I should say, I always tell you, leave something in the comments. So far, not very many people have partaken in the joining of the topic. I'm not necessarily asking because I'm going to read them on stream. If you're okay with me reading them on stream, go ahead and say so. But I'm not going to read your comments on stream unless in advance I say, hey, this is a topic that I would like to have some feedback on, and we'll make it a future live stream to talk about your responses. I'll try to give you a heads up on that. So don't take anything I'm saying here as some sort of pressure not to comment, because it might wind up out in the ether and you didn't mean for it to. No, I'll respect your privacy unless told otherwise, or unless it's specifically a topic that I've brought up for that purpose, and you'll know when that happens. So I guess I'm gonna go ahead and start winding down the stream. I do want to thank the couple of people who have popped in and watched live. If you're watching this on replay, love to have you by here for a live show. Usually it's Saturday afternoon around 5 Eastern, and usually Tuesday evening. I try to be a little earlier than I was tonight, but again, I didn't have a topic. I thought I'd kind of play around on the internet and stumble into a topic, which has happened several times in the past. I've been able to stumble into a topic just by going on Twitter for a little bit. I tried Twitter, I tried Reddit, I tried looking at some of the headlines on YouTube, and I just could not come up with a topic that I thought would fit an entertaining show from me to you this evening. So hopefully, torturing me with Fireball, a little bit of self-harm. Hopefully that's been somewhat entertaining for you folks. But yeah, if you're one of the people who are watching this on replay, we'd love to have you live. So, 6, 7 o'clock on Tuesdays. Tonight it was 8 o'clock Eastern. And then Saturdays, usually between 3 and 6 Eastern. I'm going to try to make those a little more solid, but right now, please bear with me and give me a little 2-hour buffer for both Tuesday and Saturday. If you need more notice, there's the subscribe button below, where if you are a person who likes to watch this on replay, if you click that subscription button, I'll pop up in your subscription feed whenever I've finished a video. Should be right there. If you have YouTube on your smart device, the official YouTube app, if you click that little bell down below, it may alert you via a notification when I go live. So there's that. So if I go live and you hear me go live, pop in here, say something in the chat, tell me hi. If you want to talk to me, we can even talk on live stream. I'll try to bring your comment up, and we can have a conversation. But also, don't feel pressured. I would only do that with your consent. I would not violate your privacy by automatically posting your comments or your chats. So, I would only do that if you super chat. That's the only ones that are guaranteed to be read on stream. So, if you've enjoyed this video, which I don't know why you would, unless you like seeing me tortured, drinking Fireball. If you enjoyed this stream, click the thumbs up below. I could really use the likes. I don't get very many likes. I get some views, but not many likes. So click that like button. One other thing you could do, if you know somebody who would enjoy this content, not this content, but my usual content, share this with them off platform. Off platform linking to my videos is the best way to get more eyes on my videos. Whether it's you, because Facebook's algorithm decides that if you're sharing this with your friends, then perhaps someone else's friends might enjoy seeing it as well. It's kind of how that works. I think that's how that works. I don't know. At this point, I've had, I had a couple sips of Fireball and I'm losing my damn mind. So, anyway, I hope you all had a interesting time here. I hope to see you all back here Saturday. I mean, please. Somebody. Anybody. Come back Saturday. I'll try to have a little bit more of a structured show then. I'll try to have some actual topics. And who knows, maybe in the next 4 days, maybe we'll get some news. Hopefully it's not bad news, but maybe the news, we'll get some interesting news stories that we can cover. Hopefully they're good news, because I feel like I get into some really stressful topics on this stream, and I'd like to get into happy topics. So come back, like, share, subscribe, comment, hit the bell for notifications, come back for the live chat, and I'll see you next time on Mild's Culture Plate. Good evening.